Hello, welcome to TisTalk.
Welcome to TisTalk. This is a podcast coming from Tisbury, Wiltshire and surrounding villages. I'm Julianne Murphy.
And I'm Mary Myers.
It's the week beginning the 15th of September.
Hello, Julianne.
Hello, Mary. Welcome back to TisTalk.
Yeah, I don't know what season we're in, but we're on our 124th episode.
Yeah, it's quite amazing,
Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. Where did that time go?
Yeah.
So, did you have a good summer?
Yeah, really good, thank you.
Great.
Boiled in France, but it was very nice.
Good.
Yeah, it just has gone in a flash. It's strange. It feels like we've been eating outdoors, forever. And then suddenly...
It was over.
Yeah.
I know.
So, this week we've got Jamie Moses talking.
Yes, we have, Mary, and I've got to say something.
Yeah.
So, Jamie Moses, in his interview, which is really very interesting, at the end he mentions the building I live in, which was the former Arundel Arms.
Yes.
Pub. The pub, yeah. So he brings up that not many people know that it was a house of ill repute at some point. Now, I'm not really sure if that's true, but I've heard enough rumours from various sources that it makes me feel there might be a kernel of truth in it. But the Southwestern and the Arundel Arms, obviously, they were built around the same time. They were open, and up and running for years and years.
And just next to each other.
And there was a News of the World story that came out in the 60s, I think. But I think it was the Southwestern. I don't think it was the Arundel Arms that it was covering. And it was some sleazy story.
So you're hotly defending the reputation of your house against these slurs.
Except that an interesting one I heard, which I rather liked. Now, whether this is true or not, I don't know. But a German man who said he looked into this, who lived in Tisbury.
Okay.
And he told me that Lily Langtry, who was having an affair with the Prince of Wales, who later became Edward VII, her and Edward used to meet at the Arundel Arms. Like they'd get the train down, or one would drive, one would get the train, or something.
I see.
Whether that's true or not,
they did more than meet, obviously. Yes.
Yeah. So that's kind of a more upmarket version of the same sort of story. So it is strange. Maybe it is true.
Pubs near railways.
Yeah.
World over, isn't it? It's just
rendezvous. Yeah.
But anyway, your house, has got a history.
It's got a history. So it'd be interesting if anybody else has any tales. Do let us know.
Yeah. And another important thing that's coming up this week is the Carnival.
The Carnival.
Hasn't that come round quickly?
But is it a bit pared back this year? Or?
I think it is a bit pared back. I think there's only one parade. I don't think there's going to be quite so many sort of acts that have been paid for and brought in. But this year's theme is the Jungle Book. And there's going to be lots of dressing up as jungle animals. Great.
And let's hope the weather's good.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Because that's the one big factor for the success of the carnival, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So, fingers crossed. Looking forward to it.
Okay, so what have we got on the programme this week?
Okay, so we've got Jamie Moses firstly. And, of course, he's a bit of he's a rock star. Well, he's not a star, but he's played with a lot of famous...
musician, yeah.
Yeah. And secondly, we've got Kate Gam reviewing the Lawrence Edwards exhibition, which is at Messums, and he's a sculptor. And then we've got a new little series with Martin Thomas, who is a solicitor on the High Street, Thomas & Co. And he's very kindly and boldly said, ask me any question and I will answer it off the cuff. That's what he said. So we're going to take him at his word, and we've got two questions for him. Firstly, to start off with, what is a solicitor and how does a solicitor differ from other types of lawyer? And the other one is I ask him about the costs of legal advice. And he's quite honest and good. And then we've got Peter Shallcross with another update from Warmead Farm and a little bit more about the weather and how it's affecting food production and his dairy cows. And then we have the What's Ons with Lau Pointer.
Sounds good, Mary.
Okay, here we go.
First up, Anne sits down with musician Jamie Moses, who lives in Tisbury and who played with the likes of Paul Young, Brian May, Bob Geldof, Queen, Tom Jones and loads more.
Hello, this is Anne Martin. I'm sitting right in the centre of Tisbury with Jamie Moses, who's quite a well-known rock musician. He's played with many different bands over the years. So who have you played with then, Jamie?
Well, Brian May Band at first, and then Queen and Paul Rogers. 17 years in total. Tom Jones, Canucks, The Pretenders, Bob Geldof, Paul Young, and then people like Tony Hadley, Chaka Khan. And
everyone will want to know, what was Freddie Mercury like? Everyone's seen the film.
The thing is, I joined Queen, the Brian May Band a year after Freddie died.
Right.
But I did do one show with Fred.
Okay.
Actually at the Coliseum in St Martin's Lane. And he was such a nice guy. You know, he did rehearsals with us and said, "Oh, you're wonderful, darlings. You know, you play it beautifully." And
so what was it like spending a life on the road with all these rock bands? You hear about rock bands having wild parties and so on. Is it like that? I guess it is some of the time.
Sometimes, yeah. Travelling can really be tiring, you know. Charlie Watts from Stones said something. You spend, you know, a year of your life on stage and 50 years travelling, you know, to do it.
Between venues.
Yeah. And being away from the family is tough.
Yeah,
well.
Exactly.
But, you know, I've got a job that loads of people would love to have, so I'm grateful.
And so what was your position in these bands? What did you play?
Guitar, lead guitar usually.
Right.
Or rhythm guitar. In the case of, like, you know, Queen and Paul Rogers, obviously second guitar to Brian May. Or with people like Bob Geldof and so on, I'm the guitar player.
Right.
And the same with Paul Young's band.
Who did you enjoy playing with the most?
That's
and
a good
why?
Question. Well, funnily enough, I've got a band at the moment with Paul Young, like a Tex-Mex band. It's kind of a side project, but it's turned out to be more than that, called Los Pacaminos. And we've been together for, 33 years, I think it is.
Gosh, wow.
So it's you get high stress gigs, you get low stress gigs, and you get no stress gigs. And the Pacaminos is no stress. It's just fun. It's a 7-piece band. We go and play Tex-Mex music. We wear cowboy hats, drink tequila, and what's not to love? It's just such a fun band.
I read that Jamie and the Falcons is a sort of party band to the stars. So you actually do parties for well-known people.
We do, and funnily enough, on our website, there's a few quotes from people that we've played. We did Phil Collins. We did his wedding in Switzerland. So we did his. Mike Rutherford. We've done his daughter's wedding and his son's wedding, I think, and Mike's birthday. And then Brian May, we did his birthday. We did his daughter's wedding and his son's wedding.
And you're right here in Tisbury, so maybe you'll do some local weddings as well, if you're not booked out for all the great stars' weddings.
Well, yeah, I mean, if I'm around it, that's the kind of thing the Falcons do.
So how did you get into all this then? Have you been playing a guitar in bands all your life? Was this something that you grew up with?
Yeah, I started playing 60 years ago.
Oh, right.
I know. Let's just say, instead of that, let's say...
Because you have a slight American accent, well, so presumably you grew up in America.
I was brought up in the States. My dad was from Chicago. But I started playing when I was 10. And then, like, a month after I left school, I joined a pro band. And I've never done anything else. So,
yeah.
That's it.
I mean, I've been to quite a few of your concerts, and one thing I noticed is that you come to life on stage, but you're very kind of relaxed as well. And the fact that you just love doing this comes over really, really well.
You know, you know, I sometimes do solo gigs, and that's okay.
Okay.
But when I do a gig with my band, they're always my friends.
Yes.
They're literally my closest friends.
How fantastic. So let's find out what you like or dislike about Tisbury.
Well, what's not to love about Tisbury, really? I love it. The people are so fabulous. So fabulous. Of course, it takes me 15 minutes to get to the co-op because you run into somebody, you run into somebody else, you run into, you have a chat, oh really, oh that's nice. But everybody is so nice, you know. What don't I like about Tisbury? The same thing. It takes me 15 minutes to get to the co-op.
And what's your favourite view?
Favourite view is probably coming back to Tisbury, going through the big old stone arch there at Font Hill,
yes,
and then going through that with the lake and the swans and everything. Again, that's just, you know, that's dream stuff.
Magical.
Yeah.
So can you complete this sentence? Not many people know this about Tisbury, but
okay, some people might, but the building, the one that I always think it looks like it's straight out of New Orleans, which is next to the station as you come down the ramp with the iron railings up the top, used to be a brothel.
Really?
Yeah.
So let's find out what you like, dogs or cats?
Cats.
Cats?
No, I mean, there's a dog right there.
Oh, right,
and
okay.
He's fabulous, but I'm deep down, I'm a cat guy.
Okay. Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Tea, right. Beer or wine?
Beer in the summer, wine in the winter. Kind of. That's oversimplifying it, but
right.
Yeah.
Football or rugby?
Neither. I don't do sports at all.
You're too busy playing the guitar.
It's always been music, yeah, I'm afraid, yeah.
Yeah. Radios 1, 2, 3 or something else?
Radio Wiltshire.
Oh, right. Okay, that's great.
Or if it's one of those that you mentioned, Radio 2.
Right. What gets you out of bed in the morning then?
The dog. That's why I'm a cat guy, because he always gets me out of bed.
And so when you go off to your desert island, what is the song you're going to take?
Well, there's an album called Court and Spark by Joni Mitchell, and if I had to pick a song off that album, it would probably be the title track, Court and Spark.
Oh, right.
It's a beautiful song. She's like a poet, you know, put to beautiful music with a fabulous voice. It goes straight to my heart.
That's great. Thank you very much, Jamie.
And next, Kate Gam takes us on a tour of the brand new bronze sculptures by Lawrence Edwards at Messums Gallery. Expect big and bold and a bit mysterious.
It's been 3 years since Lawrence Edwards' last exhibition in the Tithe Barn at Messums West. You may remember, because it would be hard to forget, the 5 monumental walking men striding through the space who have since journeyed across the UK and around the globe. This summer has seen the return of Lawrence Edwards, and there's just a couple of weeks left to catch his exhibition before it closes at the end of the month. Lawrence is a very entertaining speaker, as I found when I went along to a very busy private view earlier in the summer, when he walked and talked us through the exhibits, giving us an insight into his practice in bronze casting and sculpture and the ideas behind it. This is Lawrence's 3rd time at Messums Gallery. He had this to say about the space and the inspiration it gives him.
And it made me think about this building, which I think is probably one of the great galleries in the country now. I think it's one of the greatest spaces to show art, and I feel privileged that I've had maybe 3 shows here and shown other work and other shows. And this building is a very personal space for me now, and as a result, and I didn't realise that until this work went in, that I've actually built on relationships that were set with these guys walking through it. It's quite weird. They were walking through along a kind of ley line an open lane line passing through this building.
You can hear there the passion that Lawrence brings to his work, alongside a team of expert casters trained by Lawrence and his team, keeping an ancient tradition alive. His creations are surreal and challenging, but fascinating for their skill and creativity. The Lawrence Edwards exhibition ends on the 29th of September. Catch it while you can. And there's another chance to catch Lawrence Edwards in person, this time in conversation with poet Zafar Kuniel, when they will be discussing their work on Sunday the 21st of September at 11:30 a.m. It's another free event which you can enjoy with a coffee from the excellent cafe.
Martin Thomas on Tisbury High Street jumps in with off-the-cuff answers, straight talking and useful free advice.
I'm with Martin Thomas at Thomas & Co. What do solicitors do and what don't they do? I think a lot of people are confused. They see solicitors, they think, oh, the law.
Yeah.
And how does that differ from people who defend me in court?
Solicitors are people who've been educated, trained in knowing about what the law is. So they're the same as anybody else, only more expert in it. So what they do is they advise you. They tell you what the answer is.
And how does that differ from a lawyer?
It's a type of lawyer. Lawyer is the general expression, like saying doctor, and then solicitor's a type of lawyer, like saying GP is a type of doctor. So of lawyers, there's about 150,000 solicitors. That's the biggest in number. There's 20 or 30,000 barristers. But you'd also say lawyer if someone was an academic in a university, expert in law, they'd be a lawyer.
Yes.
And then you've got different names for all of those things in Scotland, where they have advocates, and they have, in a different context, they have sheriffs, and they have all different words for it.
Yes, and then in America they have attorneys.
Yeah, so we have attorneys, but attorney doesn't mean lawyer in this country.
Oh, doesn't it? What does it mean?
It means someone empowered by someone else to do something. So this is where you're taking a sailing trip to America, so you're going to be out of action for 6 weeks because it's the Victorian era. You've got no telephone.
Okay.
So you say to your neighbour, "You be my attorney."
Of course.
And then you sign all my bills and pay my checks and do whatever.
Okay.
So you give someone power of attorney, and then they're your attorney.
And then in America, they're your lawyer if they're your attorney. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay. And do you deal with criminal cases?
Me?
As a firm?
Yes.
Okay, so you can do in some cases.
But
it's
there's
not just civil cases.
That's correct, but there's a national scheme where the state will sometimes pay for your lawyer on criminal called legal aid, and we do not do legal aid, which means we only do criminal cases where clients can pay us.
Okay. Do solicitors cost a lot of money?
Yes, they do.
Okay. Can you give me examples of, say, cost of drawing up a will, cost of buying and selling a house, that kind of thing?
Yes, sure, but I'm not going to answer for my firm. I'm going to answer for solicitors. So cost of drawing up a will is, obviously it varies. You go on the internet, it's either free or 50 quid, 75 quid maybe to access software that will do it for you. And probably a lot of the time that will get it right, but you don't know that you've got it right because you've just done it on the internet. You go a solicitor, you get it anything between 150 up to 1,000 quid, all depending on different factors and what the firm charges.
Okay, but there you're sure that it's legal and proper?
Well, you're sure that you've paid somebody who's supposed to get it right. Sometimes they don't, but yeah.
Okay. So what about cost of buying and selling a house? Can you give any guidelines?
It's a competitive market. It's almost always done for a fixed fee, so you know the cost in advance. Houses in Tisbury change hands for all sorts of different amounts of money. Obviously, I know quite well what we charge and what different people charge. The charges tends to be buying a house 1,000, 2,000, There'll be a handful of houses in Tisbury might change hands where the lawyers charge 3,000. 2,500 above, it's getting a bit sort of London. So that's the sort of price range.
Okay, that's useful. Thank you very much, Martin. Yeah, so in fact, my next question was, do I really need a solicitor in some cases? You mentioned that you can get a will online. But what about, say, if I want to sell some land, or I want to get divorced or change something in my will? I've heard that you can do these things like quickie divorce and these sorts of things for free. What would you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, you can do all those things for free, except... No, you can do all those things for free. There's very few things left where the person who does it must be a solicitor. The point of getting one is what I said before, is the comfort of knowing that it's been done right. So getting divorced without a solicitor, tons of people do it. The big change there is whether or not there's children. If there's anybody under 18, the law gets way more complicated on a divorce on account of there's a rule that the state is responsible for deciding what happens to the children, the parents aren't. So in real life, the parents decide, but then you've got to get the court system to approve what they've decided.
Okay.
Doing a will...
Changing something in a will, for example?
Well, it depends how much you care that you've got it right. It's a question of sleep easy. You can do it on your own or online, but then you don't know if you've got it right. And on the whole, people who do that are nearer the end of their life than the beginning. On the whole, they care more about getting it right. On the whole, they'd use a solicitor. Right. You don't have to, and you're not making a mistake if you don't. Right. You're just lacking the sleep easy of knowing it's been done right.
Yes. Okay, that's a very nice, neat answer. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much to Martin Thomas, solicitor on Tisbury High Street. If you have a question, because we're going to continue this series for the next few weeks, asking Martin some legal questions off the cuff. If you've got a question for him, just write your question saying, "Dear Martin, here's my legal question," to tistalkradio@gmail.com.
This is TisTalk from Tisbury, Wiltshire.
Next, we head to the fields with farmer and conservationist Peter Shallcross. Despite the summer's drought, he's had a surprisingly good harvest, and his dairy herd is looking healthier than ever. I join him at Woolmead Farm. I'm back at Woolmead Farm. I'm with Peter Shallcross, and it's been a little while, hasn't it?
It's been at least a couple of months, yes.
Yes, it's a sunny day, but of course autumn's pretty much here now, isn't it?
Yeah, the change has come really quickly.
Yeah,
the sun's shining, it's quite warm, but we're in a showery period, aren't we? Yesterday's showers were extraordinary.
And are you glad of the rain?
Yes, definitely. I mean, it had to come at some point, and it's very welcome.
How was the drought for the cows and for the crops? I mean, pretty disastrous, I suppose, wasn't it?
It's a tale of two halves. In some ways, it was completely disastrous because the grass just shriveled up from June onwards.
Yeah.
So the cows have been having last year's extras that we've kept in the barns.
Yeah.
So they've been working their way through. So basically, they've been on winter rations since July, beginning of July. They have been going out just for a mooch, pick up what they can.
Right.
Makes it easier for us. And also, they still enjoy going out.
And what about the crops?
So the crops weren't as bad as we thought. So
really?
The real loser was the grass, but we've nearly finished harvest. So the wheat and the barley was done a good month ago, and they were down a little bit, but not horrendous.
Okay.
The same thing would be true if it was a very wet year and the crops die of disease before they come to full tuition.
Yeah.
So it was all within the bounds of a sort of a normal harvest.
Really? Quite surprising.
Yeah.
So we're just going to get in the buggy now and have a quick tour. I quite like going in this thing. It's a bit of a novelty.
Suddenly it gets very noisy.
Okay. So we've just stopped on the footpath
And there's a row on the left-hand side of crab apples.
Yeah.
And I planted these probably 20 years ago.
Oh.
And this year there's just tremendous crop. On the ground we've got a fall of small apples, but on the trees there's still tremendous amount of bigger ones.
Yeah, that haven't ripened yet.
No, not quite.
But I can see there are loads. I know it's been an amazing, well, it will be an amazing year for apples and pears and acorns everywhere.
Yeah, and on the right here, these are cherry trees, and earlier there was a good harvest of cherries for the birds. These are only bird cherries.
Yeah. So what's nature doing? Is it that, it's saying, oh my God, there's a drought, we've got to reproduce, we've got to produce seed, we've got to get our genes out there because we might die? Is that the thing?
I don't think it's that. I think it was just such good weather that all the flowers were pollinated and they all set, and they weren't all blown away like normal, or or destroyed by the rain or whatever. It was just a really ideal conditions. It was just a really good summer. I mean, certain things have suffered. I think the butterflies will have suffered in the last stages of the drought, because there were more butterflies than last year. It was actually a really good year,
right?
But they had to lay eggs, and the leaves they were laying their eggs on were dying, particularly the grass stems. You imagine a caterpillar hatching out, and there's nothing for it to eat. And it's the same with the woodland butterflies. Some of the willows particularly the willows actually have dropped their leaves already and gone yellow.
So there are the cows, looking lovely in the sun.
Yeah, we just come up to the top of the hill, and this is a field we call Top Common, because it used to be part of the common of, I suppose, Tisbury or Warder.
And there's your herd, which is a mix of brown and black and white cows.
Yeah, and they do shine, don't they? And they just love being outside because it's very soft ground, and they're just happy being themselves.
Great. And we were just going to mention the butterflies again, because you said that perhaps it hasn't been that good a year for butterflies. What about those marsh fritillary caterpillars that we saw last time? Do you think they're okay? Do you think they're going to survive the winter?
Well, I think they're fine, because they've actually got lots of. They had lots of food when they needed it, and now they've gone right to the bottom of the plants near the ground in a little huddle for the winter, so they don't need anything else until the spring.
Right.
And so I was a bit hasty to say, butterflies are a bit in trouble, because it's the multi-brooded ones that will be in trouble, because they need to continue breeding. A lot of the butterflies are just hibernating as a different form, a chrysalis or an egg or a caterpillar, until next year, so they're perfectly all right.
Right. Oh wow, look at all these sloes, and what are the red ones?
They're hawthorn, they're haws.
And the blackberries, of course, incredible in the hedgerows, aren't they?
Yeah, we've got 3-4 different types of fruit there, and it's just amazing colours, aren't they?
Yeah,
particularly
lovely.
the sloes and the hawberries.
Yes, really nice. So we're right on the top now of your land. What field is this?
This is hilly ground for obvious reasons, because it just drops right down.
So we've got the woods at Warder as we look over to our left, and we've got Tisbury sort of behind us.
Newtown up there on the front right.
All right, thank you very much, Peter. It's all been fantastic this morning. Really, really good.
You're listening to TisTalk from Tisbury in Wiltshire and the Nadder Valley.
And we end with the What's-Ons with Lau Pointer.
So this week we have got lots of events, because we have the Carnival, which takes place on Saturday. And here is the list, starting with the Crib Night in the Bennett at 7 p.m. tonight. On Tuesday the 16th, Quiz Night is at the Boot at 8 p.m. Skittles Tournament on Wednesday the 17th at 7 p.m. in the Football Club. Afternoon tea and bingo in the Victoria Hall on Thursday the 18th, and that starts at 2:30 p.m. Later on Thursday the 18th, a pool tournament at 7 p.m. is in the Football Club, and a darts tournament on Friday in the Bennett at 7 p.m, and on the same evening in the Victoria Hall at 7:30 p.m. there will be the Tag Carnival concert. And now for the other What's-Ons. On Wednesday the 17th, the Tisbus outing is going to Braymore House in Fordingbridge, and that leaves at 10:45. At 2 p.m. until 4 p.m, the Tisbury Fitness and Friendship Club meets at the Nadder Close sheltered housing. And at 7 p.m. for 7:30 p.m, there is a talk at Tisbury Gardening Club in the Methodist Hall. On Thursday the 18th, the Wiltshire Site Hub of Advice and Social Group meet in the Nadder Centre at 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. And at 2:30 until 4:15 in the Victoria Hall, afternoon tea is served alongside Carnival Bingo. Later at 7 p.m, a talk on mindfulness called Plain and Simple will take place in the Hinton Hall. Then on Saturday the 20th, the Community Cafe breakfast is in the Methodist Hall at 9:30 until 12 noon. At 10 a.m. until 11 a.m, the Country Market is in the Victoria Hall, and at 3 p.m, the Tisbury Carnival kicks off in the High Street, with the full procession at 5 p.m. And that's all for this week.
That's all from us. We've been Julianne Murphy
and Mary Myers, with special thanks this week to Anne, Kate and Lal. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to have a look at our new website, tistalk.co.uk, where you'll find all our past 123 episodes, a few articles, films and extras, and all the Yew-Tree comedy episodes to date. You can also sign up to our emailing list there if you're not already receiving TisTalk into your inbox every week. And don't worry, we won't share your email with any advertisers or other databases. TisTalk is also on all the usual podcast platforms, as well as Instagram and Facebook. Just search for TisTalk, all in one word. See you next week.